This link is for 5th grade. It's going along with the story, The Best 4th of July. If you go ahead and make sure your Treasures textbook is turned to page 660 and 661, this is where we're going to go ahead and get started. Of course, before we begin, we're going to go over the vocabulary words that we've encountered, or that we will encounter in this unit, rather. First one we have is guaranteed. Guaranteed means to make sure or certain. Add guaranteed cupcakes for the bake sale. Guys, when you supervise, you watch over and direct what is going on. Mr. Logan will supervise students in detention. Frustrated. Frustrated means to have feelings of discouragement. My mom felt frustrated when our picnic was rained out. Coordination. Coordination is the ability of parts or things to work together well. Kendra's coordination lets her dance and twirl a baton at the same time. Ease. Ease means to move slowly and carefully. Jim used a shoehorn to ease his heel into the tight boot. Scenery. Scenery is the sight of a place or region. We see the scenery from the train window. A bundle is a group of items held. Dad clothes for hurricane victims. Fused. Fused means ended or united. Alan fused 2 pieces of metal using heat. And so we're going to go ahead and now focus our attention back on page 670. Of course, with this story, whenever we come to a word that we may not understand, the best way, if you haven't used the context clues or read around what the story says, you can always utilize a dictionary. Now, a word can have many meanings, so a dictionary definitely can help you decide what the appropriate definition is. With that being said, let's go ahead and direct our attention to the story, The Best 4th of July. It's by Letitia Gilbert, and follow along with me as I read. Sunday, July 5th. Dear Mom and Dad, I hope you had a great 4th of July. You can imagine what a big deal it was here at Camp Freedom. With a name like that, the camp really went all out to celebrate. For weeks, every cabin was working on a 4th of July skit. Since all the girls in my cabin are super funny, our counselor guaranteed the other cabins that we would have the funniest skit in the camp. At first, we were pretty casual about working on it. Then the days went by and no one had come up with a good idea. Our counselor, Jean, started to get worried. Finally, she decided that she should supervise us and our ideas more closely. She went from cracking jokes with us to being bossy. We all felt frustrated. She kept telling us what to do and she would not listen to our ideas. No, in the end, we did a skit about the founder of the camp, Fanny Freedom. Hardly anyone laughed. After the skits, we had a cookout, complete with yummy chocolate, marshmallow, and cracker things, arranging everything on a stick involving a lot of coordination. The ingredients were sticky and hard to manage. I didn't poke my stick all the way through with my marshmallow. As I would ease the stick into the fire, the marshmallow would then fall off. I was surprised the fire didn't go out from all the marshmallows that fell in. Later that day, the counselors took us to the top of Lookaway Mountain. The scenery was amazing from up there. The hardest part was they had to carry a bundle of blankets tied together with some string. The big surprise at the end of the day was a firework display, which lit up the entire sky. On the way back to camp, Jean apologized to us for not listening to our ideas. We told her that we had fun anyways. By the way, thank you for the package you sent me. Everything was really great. The jelly beans melted and fused together, but don't worry, that didn't affect the taste. My bunkmates and I ate them for a late night snack on 4th of July, and everyone agreed they were still delicious. Love you all, Letitia. Okay, so the comprehension strategy that we're going to focus on this week is, of course, making judgments. Now, a judgment chart helps you judge whether or not a character's actions are a good idea. This will help you monitor your comprehension or understanding of a character and the story. So as we reread this story, we are going to use what is called, of course, the judgment chart, and that you will see on your screen now. Now remember that making a judgment means forming an opinion about the value of something or about whether someone's actions are appropriate. To make judgments while reading, you as a good reader must notice details about the character and the events in the stories. Then you're going to form a temporary opinion about that character or event based on your own judgment or experience and find evidence in the text to then support your judgment. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and start rereading the story, The Best 4th of July, and then we'll go ahead and fill out this action and judgment chart here. All right. Dear Mom and Dad, I hope you had a great 4th of July. You can imagine what a big deal it was here at Camp Freedom. With a name like that, the camp really went all out to celebrate. For weeks, every cabin was working on a 4th of July skit. Since all the girls in my cabin are super funny, our counselors guaranteed that the other cabins we would have the funniest skit at the camp. At first, we were pretty casual about working on it, and then the days went by and no one had to come up with an idea. Our counselor, Jean, started to worry. Finally, she decided she should supervise us and get our ideas more and supervise us and our ideas more closely. She went from cracking jokes with us to being bossy. We all felt frustrated. She kept telling us what to do, and she would not listen to our ideas. In the end, we did a skit about the founder of the camp, Fanny Freedom, and hardly anyone laughed. Now, Letitia seems to be complaining that she and her friends must pitch in to help the camp celebrate the 4th of July. She seems to place the blame on her own laziness on her counselor. Now, I can judge from that Letitia is not the clearest thinker. She seems to be prejudiced against her counselor, who is actually doing their job. With that being said, let's go ahead and put the action here that Letitia and her bunkmates put off writing the 4th of July skit so their counselor, Jean, takes control, which is basically her job, correct? And then, of course, the judgment we can form here is that Letitia and her friends are somewhat lazy, okay? With that being said, let's go ahead and look at that last section where they went ahead and said that they ended up doing a skit about the founder of the camp, who was Fanny Freedom, and that hardly anyone laughed. Now, with that being said, we could say that the bunkmates put on a skit, but no one laughed. Okay, even though they were supposed to have the funniest skit, no one laughed. And the judgment that we can conclude there is that Letitia and Letitia and pals resented Jean's ideas. Okay, let's continue to read. After the skit, we had a cookout complete with those yummy chocolate marshmallow and cracker things, arranging everything on a stick involving a lot of coordination. The ingredients were sticky and hard to manage, and I didn't poke my stick all the way through with each marshmallow. As I would ease the stick into the fire, the marshmallow would fall off. I am surprised that the fire didn't go out from all the marshmallows that fell in. Later that day, the counselor took us to the top of Lookaway Mountain. The scenery was amazing from up there. The hard part was we had to carry a large bundle of blankets tied together with some string. The big surprise at the end of the day was a firework display which lit up the entire sky. On the way back to camp, Jean apologized to us for not listening to our ideas. We told her that we had fun anyways. Now I'm going to go ahead and stop there again because this part of the story, it's pretty evident that Letitia enjoys the hike to Lookaway Mountain, but she also complains that she has to carry something. So let's go ahead and put that Letitia enjoys a hike to Lookaway Mountain, but complains that she has to carry heavy gear. And the judgment we can get from that is that Letitia is once again being lazy. She doesn't want to carry anything, so, if you want to do the hike, you got to carry your supplies, correct? All right, let's wrap this up. By the way, thank you for the package you sent me. Everything was really great. The jelly beans melted and fused together, but don't worry, that didn't affect the taste. My bunkmates and I ate them for a late night snack on 4th of July, and everyone agreed they were still delicious. Okay, so at the end of the story, on their way back from the hike, Jean ends up apologizing for not listening to the girls, okay? So let's put that down, that Jean apologized for not listening to the girls. And the judgment that goes here is obviously, Jean was doing her job, and she felt bad because the girls weren't able to express themselves, but they weren't taking the job seriously. So therefore, Jean always meant well. She never meant to, not have them not have the funniest story, but she meant well. Okay, with that being said, that goes ahead and concludes this link. If you have further questions or concerns about making judgments, go ahead and ask me at the Learning Center. Send me an email, give me a call, or use my virtual office hours.